What if someone took away all that you own? What if you woke up tomorrow morning and you no longer had a job, a house, a family, nothing? No one wants to lose their house, and most importantly, their family. But maybe to be truly free and happy, one has to know what exactly keeps you tied down. Join us and see if one can be truly free and possess anything or anybody. This is Who Am I?
Who am I?
Who am I?
Who? Our purpose is to awaken.
Who am I?
To awaken to absolute truth.
Am I?
Who am I? Who?
Our purpose is to awaken to absolute truth.
Absolute.
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 Absolute truth.
Our purpose is to awaken to awaken. Are they one and the same? Absolute and truth. That's our purpose.
Who am I?
Okay, we've been looking at attachments. I got a little story. Y'all want to hear a story? Another story? Okay. Well, there was this farmer, and he only had one horse, okay? And the horse ran away, and so all the neighbors came over and said to the farmer, Farmer John, isn't it too bad, you know, you lost your horse. And Farmer John said, maybe. And so the next day, the horse came back and brought 12 more horses with him, you know, and the neighbors came over to Farmer John and said, Farmer John, isn't it wonderful? You know, you now have 13 horses. Isn't it wonderful? And Farmer John said, maybe. So the next day, the Farmer John's son got on one of the horses, okay, and fell off and broke his leg, okay? So all the neighbors came over and said, oh, Farmer John, isn't it bad, isn't it tragic? Your son fell off the horse and broke his leg. Isn't that terrible? And Farmer John said, what? Maybe, okay. And so the next day, the army came by, you know, trying to conscript all the guys for the war, okay? But they couldn't take the son because he had a broken leg, okay? So all the neighbors came over to Farmer John and said, Farmer John, isn't it wonderful? Your son doesn't have to go off to war and he won't, you know, get killed and so forth. And Farmer John said, what?
Maybe.
Right, and that's the story, okay? Now, we're looking at something called attachments, okay? And Farmer John was looking at something called, he was in a position where he could say maybe. He wasn't attached to having one horse or 13 horses, or having his son be one way or the other way. He wasn't dependent upon anything outside of him, the circumstances, having been what we might call good circumstances, you're having 13 horses as opposed to one horse, okay, or bad circumstances, having lost one horse, everything that he owned, or, you know, having his son having a broken leg. The circumstances, the idea that there's something called bad circumstance or good circumstance, okay? Good events, bad events, did not define Farmer John. He wasn't attached to him. What defined Farmer John? Yes, Gloria.
Does Farmer John represent God's identity in this story?
Well, in a sense, in a sense that he was at a place called non-attachment, okay? And when you're non-attached, you're not reacting.
Well, he said not reacting because he had nothing to react to.
Right. In a sense,
But he
Right. He said, what is.
yeah. He was, as Glory was implying or pointing to, you know, he was in a place called nothing outside of me. You know, once you possess something, once you own something, and by the way, you can't own anything. Okay, I remember when I went to Egypt, okay, and Joan, you were there just recently, right? And, you know, you look at the pyramids, and those pharaohs, you know, they would built those big pyramids, okay, and they would have all these treasures inside the pyramid so that when they went to the other side, you know, after they died, you know, they would, you know, have these offerings for the gods. You know, hey, I got all this good stuff for you gods. So let me in, to heaven or whatever they call it, okay? But they couldn't take it with them because thieves who came into the pyramids and stole everything, okay? But I think that there's something called need something. And once I think I need something, I'm saying this is real, okay? And once I say lack is real, I'm saying that there's something called incompletion and that God is not complete. Okay? So that's why, you have to look at, do I really own something? Can you own? Now, I'm not just talking about, your car, your house, material things. That's easy to look at. Let's go deeper than that. Let's look at something more abstract. Okay? Can you own really a thought?
Get it copyrighted.
Yeah, if you're going to write and try to make a bunch of money out of it, okay? I mean, where's your next thought coming from? You already know. All right, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to think about Jesus. Okay, I'll think about Jesus. All right, you might think about him for about 10 seconds. And then what? Oh, I forgot to pay my rent. Okay, or whatever. Something else going to come up. And you're going, let me ask you this. Have you ever gotten a letter from the IRS?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what that's like? Okay. You see IRS, Internal Revenue Service. Right there you go, oh my God. You got a reaction already, okay? Because you start thinking about this, your bank account, okay? Because Uncle Sam is not usually writing you to give you something. Uncle Sam usually writes, I want something. No, he don't even say I want. He said, I'm going to take.
Dr. Gordon, I'm having a problem understanding certain things, how you defining outside the wholeness. And what I mean by that is that science was sort of isolated 300 years ago. Now there was a research where they bring science integrated with the mind, the soul, the spiritual, the energy, and the matter. So we were able to see those things as correlated. Before you talk about the body, well, there's also a research that has been conducted not long ago that you cannot separate them. Body, mind flow together. Okay, in order for me to understand and defining those things that we talk about here today.
Okay. That you have to start with. All. Okay? And all is complete. I didn't know that word, that was going to come out like that. Okay? But all is all. You can't have less than all, more than all. Now, it's interesting about science. In particular, you get into theoretical physics and stuff like that. And you have, Newtonian physics, macro, talking about the macro. And then when you get into subatomic physics, you get into, like quantum and stuff, okay? And then, you keep dividing it down. Now they got something called string theory, okay? And, those little bitty, when you look at, you can't even look at a string, but supposedly it's in motion, always in motion, all right? And let's say you could even divide that. Now, string is supposed to be, the smallest thing that everything can, according to science. And it's in motion, and they call it energy. Matter of fact, science, now they come out that the universe is composed of 70% what they call dark energy, okay? And they don't even know what it is, okay? They don't even know what dark energy is, but that's what science has now, at least that's according to that theory, all right? But the thing is that, even if you can divide the string into, you keep dividing, and then you get to something called nothing. What's that?
I'm referring that you need to have the wisdom to actually relate to the wholeness or nothingness or emptiness. You have to put the things together because we actually have been conditioned to fail. To fail.
To fail?
Yeah,
we are.
We've been conditioned to fail. And Einstein said it in a very precise way. He said, well, we need to what we're seeking is pleasures. And pleasures is like what you got here, lacking those desires, and we're never there because we're looking at one single like what you said about attachments. Attachment by itself is part of that group. You have to identify those things as an emotional problem. Okay, and then when you say body, the body reacts to those things negatively, and you'll know where to find the roots because they are not in a sort of way that are complete as a wholeness or mindfulness, which mindfulness is defined as awareness.
Well, okay, yeah, I mean, again, it's humans trying to understand and explain that which is not understandable. Okay, see, we are, and I was saying to Carol earlier, we have to take something, and this is what we've done with this thing called God. Okay, take it and make it so that we can understand it. All right, we have to take anything the unknown and the infinite unknown, you can call God, and we give God, we attribute, we project out onto this concept, humans. Our human attributes, Wisdom, as you said, wisdom is this. It's omniscience. Now, what is that? Alan Carter couldn't know, okay? I don't care if you got, 40 PhDs from Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford, or whatever, okay? And 30 Nobel Prizes and whatever, okay? You don't know what this is, okay? Because you are conceptually based, all right? This is God, okay? It's one knowing. That's what omniscience means. And that's wisdom, okay? That is beyond any human thought. And no human thought can cross this line. No human thought, okay?
When you started off this session, you said that if you're below the line, you're in lack, and you just made God incomplete.
No. I don't think I did. If I did, I made a mistake. No, he's complete. All is complete.
No, that if you believed in lack, you just made God incomplete.
Yeah, if you believe in lack, you will have a God who is lacking.
Okay, you'll have a God who's lacking.
Yeah.
So you'll construct a God who's actually lacking.
Oh, sure.
Okay, I wanted to clarify that.
Uh-huh.
But then that God that you're talking about, the one that's totally complete, does not know lack, right? According to you, so that God is not aware of the fact that we even exist. Right, according to you. Well, no, it's not a dig or anything like that.
Okay,
I'm just really trying to,
I'm glad you are.
to get real clear
good.
on what it is that you're saying.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything that any human says about God, okay, is not God. Even if that human is Jesus, or Buddha, or whoever. You're using words, thoughts, okay? And no thought can encompass the infinite, okay? So that it's kind of like when the Buddha said, if you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him, okay? In other words, if you hear me say, I got the truth, all right, please turn me off, all right? I'm lying. I got a book here that is the Word of God. No, it's not. Okay? Now, obviously, some things are more, can point you to, okay, truth more than, let's say, watching Real Housewives of Atlanta, okay, it's not going to probably point you too much to, to truth, okay? And there's nothing wrong with it if you want to watch. I mean, football season is about 3 weeks away. Yay! But it's entertainment, okay? There's no truth in that. Bart Starr, Aaron Rodgers, cannot point me to truth, okay? But I can enjoy watching, football. I can enjoy watching anything. But what is it that I can be aware? And I don't know what this is. I can only be it. But once I start talking about it, I'm not it. Okay? Can you get that? All right? So yeah, if you're out there and if you want to go to church on Sunday and listen to your preacher, you go. Okay, it's all right. All right? But, it's kind of like, this is baseball season. When the pitcher throws a ball and the catcher catches it, what is it? It's nothing until the umpire calls it. Oh, okay. You might say it's a strike, and the umpire says ball, and you say you're blind, umpire. You know, you're the umpire. Okay. Don't give the authority to anybody else. Is what I'm saying. All right. Don't give the authority to your mama, your daddy, your preacher, the psychologist, or whoever. Okay. I don't care if they have 45 PhDs from Harvard. Don't give them the authority. You start off with what you know to be absolute truth and see if it's consistent with that. Gloria, you were next.
Okay, so I would like to ask a nitty-gritty question,
Okay.
and for you to give the answer from your,
Okay, I'll allow to you. No.
okay? So say you get a letter from the IRS that you owe $15,000.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. Go.
So from that human identity, your personal identity, you've got this letter, this is the circumstance. And you know all these words that are pointers to God's identity. So in that circumstance, what do you do?
Well, more than likely, as a human, I would react.
Right.
Okay, I mean, my first thing would be IRS. You know, when I look at IRS, and automatically I have a reaction. More than likely, most of us would, okay? Because more than likely, it's not good news, all right? And since I have a certain attachment to money, I look at it and I know that there's a certain amount in my bank account, so forth, and all that kind of stuff, all right? And yes, my first thing would be any human reacts. God can't react, okay? So as long as I identify as Alan, I will react.
So reaction is part of the human identity.
Okay, then what I do next is I can say, okay, all right, let me see what these reactions are. I can notice them, okay? I'm noticing fear. I'm noticing that I will lose some money. Okay, Uncle Sam will come in and take all my money, $15,000, you know, if I have it, you know, whatever, okay? And then that will have all kind of rampant, then how am I gonna pay my rent, you know, all that kind of stuff, okay? So I would just notice it. And if I can be in a space where I'm just noticing and not reacting, I'm now allowing for some peace to come in. And I don't, not as judgmental, because see, I think IRS is bad when I get a letter from the IRS. I automatically think it's bad news, okay? So I have made a judgment called IRS I don't like, okay? So if I notice how I'm set up to not like, to judge something bad is good, IRS I don't like, winning the lottery I like, okay? So I'm caught in this judgment called bad and good, and I'm noticing it, okay? And I still will probably have something called, oh my God, IRS, oh, I win the lottery, oh wow, yay, okay, that kind of stuff, all right? And as soon as I can, this mind, because it's all mind stuff, okay? It's the human mind that's reacting. I would know that there's only one mind and ask myself, who's the one having these thoughts? Who's the one having these feelings? Can God react to the IRS? Of course not. God wouldn't know nothing about the IRS, okay? So who's reacting? Alan. So who is Alan? Is Alan real, or is Alan like this? A little puppet, okay, who's controlled by the conditioning, okay, that Robin and Ruth Carter gave me, that the society gave me, and everything, okay, who is built to fear that he can lose something. Now, ultimate loss, I think, is something I call my life, okay? And everything in my society tells me I can lose something. And I have to take it back to truth. That's why as soon as I can, as quick as I can, is this true? And that's why you got to find out what is true, okay? And that's the nitty gritty. And yeah, Alan Carr is always scared. Yeah.
So it's kind of like we're, by this inquiry and looking at the words that point to God's identity, truth, and this identifying how we react as human from that human identity. It's like below the line is all about the doing machine, reaction machine. And by noticing that reaction machine, it gives access to being. And then we want, as from the human reaction machine, we want to explain what being looks like versus, well, you can't. It just is.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I saw several hands. I'm not sure who was next. You were next. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to ask, so if God is the all in all, does that mean that we're all complete?
I am complete. Ain't no we. Okay? There's only
I
one.
was just saying I am, right?
Yeah, I mean, but not Jock.
Right.
Jock is a human being who's scared,
Right, okay.
okay, who's incomplete, who wants more money, right? You want more, Jock wants more money, right?
More money, baby.
Yeah. More money, more money, more money, all right? Yeah.
Created film machine.
Yeah, you know, so I mean, humans want more. I want more. I want more money, more prestige, more respect, more sex, whatever. Fill in the blank, okay? Because a human can't be complete. There's no way possible a human can be complete. Only God is complete. Who's next? Yeah, Leonard, and then Bahia, and then Raphael, and then I think you had your hand up. Yeah. But yeah, Leonard.
So by the story that you said a little while ago is that this farmer just kept saying maybe. It was almost like he had no opinion on what was good or what was bad. And so what Gloria was just asking brought this state or a little insight into me was about the I am part of being, or the I am is being. And that the human identity and personal identity is a doing machine, like Gloria says most of the time, but it doesn't really know I am. It can never know I am. Because the only thing that the human and personal identity can know is lack, fear, and things. I am knows nothing or no things. And so we really will never, like you said, have any words or have any actions that will be nothing. We'll always be doing something.
Right.
And something that somebody can see is outside of them.
Right.
But I am, we have nothing outside of I am.
Right.
So nothing can leave I am and nothing can come into I am. That's why we can never get there.
Exactly.
So if we're already I am, then we're already complete. We're already perfect love. We're already all. And even to say that we're all knowing and all power are just words to conceptualize it. But there is still something that is so inexplicably blissful that nothing can describe it.
Right.
And we're trying to find out what that is, and yet we are in the wrong place to find it out.
Exactly.
Because we're not asking that question, who am I, every time there's a thought or an object presented to us.
Exactly.
Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
that's
Who
what
am I is really
it's a little
about?
more eloquent than I can, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it, Leonard. Okay. Who was next? Bahia and then Raphael.
Okay, to kind of touch on what Leonard had said, what Carol had said in the last session. The mind is really who we are.
This man.
Well, no, most humans hang out down here. Okay, so the mind that's hanging out in the community of lack is really what we're talking about when we talk about knowing the I am that I am, because there's no way that we cannot know it because it's complete and we're a part of it. We're not separate.
Yeah. Now, again, we have to watch that word we.
And trust me, I'm trying to keep up with your hypothetical discussion that you're having here. I'm trying to stay with that. With that being the case, not all reactions are negative, like the example that you gave, where the man, he had no reaction, basically. So he wasn't in his mind when he wasn't in the mind, because I don't think there's several minds out there. I think there's just one that's pervading this entire space that we're in. That's my thinking. But when he reacted by not reacting and saying, oh, is that so? basically. He wasn't thinking about anything. He wasn't really reacting. He just wasn't participating in the lack that was present, right?
Yeah, he wasn't attached, okay, for the outcome to be a certain way. Okay, we usually want results, and we think we know how results should be. Like, should you have 1 horse or 13 horses? Okay, for him, it made no difference whether or not he had 1 horse or 13 horses. He wasn't attached that something outside of him could define him.
Okay. So there's a possibility of being in this space and not having a negative reaction to it.
Yes.
Okay. My concern in terms of what Leonard said and what Carol said in the last session is the level at which we're playing along with this mind and deluding ourselves. And I say playing along, and that might be the wrong statement to make. It might be that there's nothing here but mind.
Yeah, there's nothing here but God. If Jesus was going to preach, he should have said 4 words. God is, I am. And then he should shut up. But then nobody go, huh? What? Huh? Who? What? What do you mean by that? But that's it. God is, I am. Okay? That's it. Okay? And that's all that there is. But, the human mind can't get that, because then we're like, what do you mean? Aha, what? It just, explain that. And, oh, that doesn't make no sense to me. How am I going to pay my rent from that? Or whatever. Okay? So, we want to keep bringing it back into the human experience because we think we're human. Automatically, a thought defines me as human. And once I think I'm human, then all of this seems real. It's like what Carol was sharing about her dream. When she was in the bed dreaming that she was Carol interacting with other people, okay, but she had the realization, because it's called a lucid dream, that it wasn't really going on like she thought it was, okay? And that's what we are trying to see. We are trying to have a lucid dream now, in a sense, okay? We are trying to see that this is not the reality. The reality is this, but we can't even get, as Leonard was saying, we can't even get that, because I have to think in terms of subject-object. And I think time and space are real, because I just got a signal that we're out of time for this, okay? So we'll play this game, as you said by here, this game we're playing, it looks like we're playing, or the dream that we think we're in, as Carol was saying. We will, play it like the dream is scripted to play. So there's appears to be a script called time. And so we're out of time, y'all. All right. So anyway, keep asking questions, keep open to the, what is it that I think is important, and why do I think it's important? Thank you.